This is the third of a series of videos that documents the process that I'm going through to attain guardianship for my son with autism as he approaches the age of 18. If you missed any of the earlier videos, be sure to click the link in the description box of this video to gain access to those. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so I went to the courthouse last week with the intent to go ahead and submit the paperwork to the court clerk. And I sent my whole package of stuff up to her, and she was going through it. And then she asked me the question that I didn't know she was going to ask me, which was, did I make copies? I did not read the instructions. I just went ahead and filled out that online application, pushed print, and did not read the court instructions, which very clearly said to make copies. So I'm already at a loss at that point. So I know I need to go back to make some copies. And then the other thing she told me to do is bring lots of paper clips, because what they want you to do is take each one of the forms. Let's say it's form 300, and it has 7 pages, 1 out of 7, 1 out of 7, 2 out of 7, and so forth. They want you to put all those together, paper clip those forms, and put it together. And then do it for all the different forms for how many pages each one. So those are each separate things. And then you put them, I would put them in numerical order. So 300 is before 301 and so on and so forth. But she might change it around when she eventually gets to it. But I didn't have all that done, so I had to go back to the starting line and go make some copies of stuff. The other thing that she asked me about was the fee waiver. It may be the case that you or your wife or you collectively cannot qualify for the fee waiver that's available for people. But I was able to, or my son was able to, because it's in his name. And at 18, he's going to not have any income. He's not going to have a job. He's not going to have any assets, because we've said all those things that with special needs trust and ABLE accounts that are for his benefit, but are not in his name. So we were granted the fee waiver, and the fee waiver is important because if you need to get copies, you need to print things, you need to have access to the courthouse for materials, and it has a cost to it, you don't have to pay it. And that saved us $435 that we didn't have to pay for his application fee. And that's what it costs here in Superior Court in California. I don't know what it's going to cost in other locations. So I went ahead and did that, but I did not have it when I was going the first time. So I had to fill that form out, and I had to fill one out for my ex-wife because she's a co-conservator as well. We opted not to worry about getting it for my oldest son, who's going to be another co-conservator, because he's in San Diego, and most likely me or my ex-wife are going to be getting all the paperwork that we need right now to get this conservatorship set up. So we didn't really worry about that. It was just more work for me to do, and I decided I'll take that risk. What else? So I'm at the clerk, and she's telling me that I got some issues with it. So we come back, and I come back another day with the copies, things in order, and she accepts it, and we now have a date established for the original, for the first court date. I suspect there's going to be some revisions to it, because one of the things I mentioned to you in an earlier video is that the online form that I shared the link to doesn't seem to give you, or at least we weren't able to find a way to become the conservator of the estate, the finances. But there is some place on the form that you can check. So I went ahead manually and checked those boxes, but I may have missed some box or some explanation or some form that would have been triggered if I was using that online source. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I know that I need to be the conservator of his person and conservator of his estate, because he's not able to make decisions about either one of those things, at least this point in his development. So as I learn more about that, I will share that with you. So right now we have a date set up, and it's going to be after I get back from my dad's funeral. I had to push it out a little bit, but it seems like they were like a month out at this point. I don't know how long it takes after that first one. Oh, and one other thing that I did do is that there's a form that your doctor or your child's doctor has to complete. So I pulled that out and I took it to the doctor's office directly, so that we can submit that into the court at a later time to show that the doctor has made this recommendation or this evaluation or whatever it is that the doctor does. But it essentially just says that they agree that your son or daughter may not have the mental capacity to make some of these adult-like decisions. So For those who want to try to do it alone, I think this is very doable. So I've not hired an attorney. I'm committed to go ahead and try to get this thing done on my own. I've made some hiccups and mistakes along the way, but they seem workable. And the thing I know about working with courts, if you are a parent or someone who's not an attorney, they tend to be a little bit more favorable or lenient on you if you make a mistake or the form's not completely corrected or whatever. So I'm just going to go under that assumption that if I make a mistake, the judge, court, or whoever is going to say, hey, fix this, do this, do that, and this is what you need to do. The goal is to have the conservatorship of his estate and the conservatorship of his person. That's the goal. So that's what I want to accomplish. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get there, but I've taken the first step and we have our first date set up. I will keep reporting to you as I learn more, and have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.